Just as a matter of interest, Andrew, what do you like to do with odds-on shots that you are pretty confident will win? What is your strategy with horses like that?
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Coastal Boys. Myself and Mr. Mark Van Dierwinter. Today we're going to preview the Durbanville card for tomorrow, Saturday. A short 7-race card. The big meeting being the Sunday meeting at Greyville, culminating in the end of the season Gold Cup and a few more feature races, cracking days racing. But first we've got to get through this Durbanville card, which looks quite thinnish compared to what we have been having of late. And welcome, Mark.
Andrew, good to be on the show again. And yeah, I think you're right in your assessment with the card. In the first 3 races, there are some heavy favorites that look to win. And then in the last 3 races, they're quite competitive handicaps. So I think, the guys will have to be quite strategic in how they put things together. But, we can look at it race by race and let's see what we come up with.
Perfect. We begin at the beginning, as we always do. Durbanville welcomes you to the maiden juvenile plate for fillies. It's over 1,250 metres. The betting is as such: 6-10 Merriment, 7-2 number 7 the first timer Verse for Zizan, 9-2 number 3 Ivana, 10-1 and better the rest. Away you go.
Yeah, look, I think it's where you go with Merriment. That form line, I think, should stand up well. He was supported, I should say, was supported, made headway on debut. It was a relatively quick adjusted time for a juvenile race. The form has since been franked. And I think that form line is stronger than that belonging to Ivana. They give me the green light out of Campharatus, even though that one is liable to improve, having finished 4 lengths back on debut. I do think that Merriman's form is more persuasive. I don't know what to say really about any market springers or firsters. The advice, as always, is just to look at the prelims very closely. And I find looking at the volumes traded on Interbet can also give you a good idea which horses are live or not.
Completely agree. And the trainer comments to date in the first race were: number 2, Night Fever, will need further and the experience. Number 4, for the Sandyard, Colorado Columbine, will want further. A slight positive, or a positive verse for number 7, Verse for Suzanne, doing well at home, if not to green, small each way chance. I mean, she is bred in the purple as well. I mean, so
Yes.
she could be anything. I mean, but they've got to put it on the track. I mean, she's out
Yeah.
of Oh Susanna Bear. I mean, and the me Oh
Yeah.
Susanna, she was wonderful. Probably a bit further is needed than the 1250
Yeah,
on that
you'd think
breeding.
so. You'd think so. And in fact, Othello, who runs in race 4, is also out of O Susanna. And I think the most polite comment I could say is sort of a well-bred flop. He ran a couple of decent races at Durbanville, but I mean, he's competing off a very, very low merit rating. But it's unfair to make a judgment on an unraced horse because a sibling hasn't produced the goods as expected. But I think Merriment is the answer. Just as a matter of interest, Andrew, what do you like to do with odds-on shots that you are pretty confident will win? What is your strategy with horses like that? And
I
hook
don't,
them up in
uh,
multiples?
no, I'm not a very much a multiple player. I mean, I might take multiples into big feature races, anti-post and stuff like that. But
Sure.
sometimes I'd rather just sit out and let them watch them
Mm.
win. If I'm going
Yeah.
to play tote, I like to play quartets. I'm a quartet
Yes.
man more than a trifecta man. I might take multiple quartets.
Yes.
I would include Gimme Perfect in my quartet. I mean, has had 2 starts this filly. She's able to give me the green light. She's run 7th on both occasions. The first form line behind she chose was quite decent. Her last run, she did pass a few late. I mean, she was 8 lengths behind at the 400. She finished 6 lengths behind. She's stepping up in trip, which might suit. So she might be one of my lurkers in the quartet trifecta. Do you think, and she's a big price, she's like 40 to 1, so can make it pay. I think Ivana's had one decent run, but we spoke about this before. I think she was supported that day as well. She was only 5 to 1, so she isn't one of those ones we spoke about, double figure odds, where they surprise on debut. And then we saw two of the Cinders do exactly that last week, and they were a bit, as you would say, they flopped in the market. Horses lost. But I think it's Merriman's race to lose. And without further ado, I think we just move straight on to race number 2.
Yeah.
We have the Lucky Fish Plinko Maiden Plate over 12.50. Another race where we have a short one. The bidding is Landman 4 to 10, Leticia 5 to 1, Rochetu 6 to 1, 10 to 1, Sicily 16 to 1, and better the rest. The comments, out of memory, I do not believe there were any positive comments from the trainer, or no real positive comments from the trainers, but let me get there and I'll read it to you. Autocorrect, first run back after being gelded will need the run. 4th of July can place if not to green, and number 9 Magic Rock will need the run. So it looks to be between the race runners. I mean, Landman, I'd rather be back in this one than the one in the first. Landman, if you watch the show, it was an excellent show, and we're waiting eagerly for season 3 of Landman. I mean, this colt, Richard Ferree rides negative, the only negative being the draw. Last time there was a bit of money early doors, then drifted out to 5 to 1, ran second behind My Sunny Boy. The saddle slipped that day. Otherwise, I think probably would have won. The stable companion, the older gelding in the race, Rochetu, has had plenty chances, getting close to your 10 runner. Maiden, 3 places from 8 starts. And quite interesting, his first run at Durbanville. Did run a decent race behind Coffee Crunch last time, was quite handy. So might even need us, maybe I'll say, set the pace or be handy, and Richard will get to follow through. Of the rest, Sicily from Lucinda Woodruff Yards, the source is at 17 runs for only 7 places. But 80% at the track, five runs at the course and 4 places. But the first time stepping up to 12.50, the 1200 meter runs, they say didn't get home, so I'm not quite sure. And Leticia done nothing wrong. 3 starts to date. Last run at Durbanville, 2 lengths behind Bourne. Fire got bumped at the 150 meter mark. Takes off the 2.5 kilos with Sufisa Bongani on board today. I think we'll be there and thereabouts. Unrestrained, stable, quite quiet. I just looked at his stats. He's only had 2 winners this whole season. He normally thrives in the winter months when it's a bit wetter, but I think he's stable. He probably hasn't got the biggest of stables, so this is probably one of their better horses, and let's hope can run a place for them. But I think it'll be all Landman's race to lose. Richard Ferree on board. I mean, I just saw him win on a horse in P that's won 5 in a row. Klainsy, I mean, absolutely cruised home. I thought the handicapper had got it. He's raised 15 points, but I think still won by 5. He'll be going up another 5 or 10 points. And I think Landman bred well. United States by a fantastic trip for a big owner, Mr. Johnson. He's race to lose.
Yeah. I think that's the correct angle. You know, he'll probably start maybe even shorter than 4 to 10, but he looks practically invincible. That was a very good debut when everything went wrong. As Andrew mentioned, the saddle slipped, and he only succumbed by a nose. And the speed figure, encouragingly, was pretty good. Way better than anything else in the field. Leticia has started at long odds and has been placed at 2 of 3 starts. Sicily is a 17 start maiden who dislikes soft ground. He's run best at this venue, but I mean, how excited can you get about a horse that's still, battling to exit the maidens after so many tries? And Andrew did mention that Rochetu seems likely to hit the frame, has been carrying his pace a bit better, and the way in which the track profile works at Durbanville, that might help him just to last a little bit longer than normal. But, Landman, I think, is deservingly priced very, very short in the second race.
Just as an aside, a 32 race maiden won today in Quebec. So,
Wow.
For Jacques
See,
straight. Yeah.
if at first you don't succeed,
Do not give up. Try and try and try and try and try and
yeah.
try and try again.
That's
Moving on to race number 3. Back to the totes, a maiden plate. We step up in trip to 1500 meters. The betting is Royal Influencer 15 to 10, 7 to 2 Madra Rua, 5 to 1 The Big Bang, 7 to 1 Montessori, 9 to 1 Groove Master, 10 to 1 The Muffin Man, 14 to 1 and better the rest.
yeah. Look,
You have a
a
strong
Royal.
fancy.
I do. I do. I like Royal Influence here, Andrew, and I put it up as the best bet. It's not really my style to label horses at odds on, and so I thought that Royal Influencer at 15 to 10 offers just a little bit more upside potential. He was pipped after leading for a long way behind Superhero, who subsequently got speed figures in the high 80s. So if he's even close to that, then that's plenty good enough to win a maiden in Cape Town. And then I scrutinized his previous runs, and they were all key maiden contests. That the form does have some substance to it. So that's the horse that I've decided to go for. Madra Rua, we've been making slanderous comments about well-bred flops. I'm sure, I mean, with the greatest respect, that the connections thought that a Frankel out of Run Fox Run would have done, way better than what poor Madra has managed. But I think does have some physical issues on his style of running, which tends to be up handy. I think Durbanville should suit him nicely. So he is the main danger. The Big Bang got a speed figure of 75 last time, which is quite a few points below what Royal Influence has achieved. And I thought that Havoc, Montessori, and the Muffin Man had place hopes at best. Look, I, I wouldn't suggest betting the ranch on Royal Influence. He's not a star, but I think in the context of this race, he does appeal as a rock solid pick. Maybe you've got an alternate take on it.
I thought it was slightly deeper than the 15 to 10 Royal
Okay,
Influencer.
sure.
I wasn't sold on Madarua. I was superbly bred, and you would have thought they would have tried to keep this as an entire. If he had at least done something, I mean, he was gold at 2 runs back. Best run to date was behind Witch Hazel. That seems to be a solid form run.
Yes.
Slightly worried about the form line of Royal Influencer. If I go back, I mean, there's only been 1 run on Superhero, but if you look further behind that, 9 runners, both starts before that behind Ferryman and Bourbon King, who runs later today. Been no winners. I mean, there've been
Uh,
places, but there's been no winners.
yeah.
The 2 that I think will probably give your horse the most chip, I found one at a big price. I thought might improve, and I did like the profile. I nearly put it up, but I thought it was quite a deep race.
Mm.
Each way, 7 Havoc. Third run
Huh?
off the rest. You did mention it. I just like the way it closed last time. He's a 2-year-old, so he gets a bit of weight as well. Sean Veal on board behind Mordecai. Not the worst form. He ran very free. He ran very free last time. If he gets a bit of cover, and I think he will be running on them at the death because I know the pace will be there. I think Andrew will go to the front on Montessori, number 8, for the Nell Yard. He's held behind Protective Peace Run and the Super Viking Run. And then we have number 9, the Muffin Man, the stable companion to Madra Rua. Josh Van Sollen rides draw 9, which is not a positive. I mean, the form hasn't been bad. There has been money for this horse on 2 occasions when he ran 4 legs behind Versicat, 2 winners from that form line. And then the last start got bumped behind Lava Strike when was leading. It's money from 6 to 1 into 4 to 1. So maybe he has been showing a bit of improvement at home. And
Yes.
another one for Trifectas and Quartets. But I think you have fallen on the correct favourite.
Mm.
Sure, I would be jumping in at the 15 to 10. I would be going for a little bit of value on number 7, Havoc, a horse that I think that can improve.
Okay. No,
Because we
cool.
will get pace. We will get pace.
Yes.
That's the key in
Yes.
this race.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. And maybe the followers choose to hook them up in exactas. We've been known to snaffle a
Sure,
few. If
100%.
we must
But
just try and sustain that record.
an interesting race
Yeah.
with Royal Influencer being the key for a lot of players. I think even on the tote, I think this will be a key in bipods and place accumulators, which you can
Yes.
take on Interbet. I mean, there are big carryovers on Sunday, so you can get your tote and it goes directly into the tote, which feeds
Yes.
back to the stakes and to all that is needed to make our game a success.
Yeah. Sustain the game. It's a virtuous cycle.
Move on to race number 4. Guess what? An open maiden plate over 2,000 meters. I don't know, One World and Open Maiden, they just don't seem to go together. I mean, One World was a great horse.
Yeah.
One of the top horses in South Africa. We move on. The betting 2-1 Echo Foxtrot number 7. Up in Flames number 8, 7-2. Quiet Place 7-2. Oh Fellow we mentioned earlier 5-1. Sparkling Sky 6-1. 8-1 Wizarding World 20-1 and better the rest. I actually have put up an arrow here. I've gone through this card. I thought the first two probably win, but they were too short to put up as an arrow. I've put up the favourite Echo Foxtrot number 7 for the Adam Marcus yard, ridden by JP van der Merwe. The blinkers have improved this horse beyond recognition. Before the blinkers and before the step up in trip, he was really, really struggling. He was in the back 80% of the field on his first 4 runs. They gave him a rest for a couple of months. He came back, a red bound horse called Phantom Man. He stayed on that day. That was over 2000. And then they put him behind a horse called Glen Almond, who subsequently won 2 races in a row.
Mhm.
That form line is quite strong. There was a horse that ran in Port Elizabeth today that also ran a place from that form line, also over 2,200 meters. So we know he does stay, and I think the race is his to lose. He's
Mhm.
running the second favourite. He's number 8, Up in Flames, from Michelle Ricks. Mr. Right rides. Solid enough form. 11 race maiden, 6 places. Ran behind Liefling last start. Has had excuses the last 2 starts. Got bumped last time, and before that over 1,600 clipped heels. But I'm not sure the 2,000 will suit her. Of the rest, A Quiet Place, another 12-run maiden, has previous champion jockey Richard Fourie on board for the Des McLaughlin yard. He'll be there and thereabouts, but he's held on the Liefling form line behind by Up in Flames from last start. Another one has run a place over course and distance. He's placed twice over the distance, but I'm still not sure the 2,000 meters is the right distance for him. Old Fellow we spoke about earlier, being an expensive
Yes.
horse to follow. She's well bred. The best run was last start, which she ran behind Ready for the Road. She ran just behind them. She could probably improve a bit further and run into the courts and trifectas. And that's the race for me. I think it's number 7, Echo Foxtrot, to lose.
Yeah, yeah. Look, it's made significant improvements since arrest and having the blinkers fitted. And I think the Phantom Man form, which has yielded 3 wins and many places, that's arguably by far the best on offer in this race. So Echo Foxtrot would also get the nod from me. Quiet Place, I respect just on trainer jockey combos. It is a small sample, but Richard Fourie is winning at a 33% strike rate and placing nearly 70% of the time when he rides one of Des McLaughlin's horses. So that is a positive angle. Oh Fellow is very moderate, was headstrong last time, but in its favor did get its best speed figure, albeit a modest one. And then Up in Flames, a possibility it might be able to, crank up for one of the lower slots. But I think that Echo Foxtrot the profile is right and looks ready to ace its maiden.
90, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, yeah. How have your arrows been doing in PE today, Andrew?
I had a 10-1 winner, and then
Very
my
good.
arrow came second, beaten by Andrew Fortune.
The,
Just got up to deny me, and then a horse that was getting 10 kilograms for 2 lengths beating got a 5-length beating again by Clancy, which seems to be one of the top most improved horses in Quebec. I
Yes.
mean,
Still ahead of the
just like
handicapper.
they've risen him fifth early, 15 points, and he just seems to be, he won by 5-6 lengths today, going away. I mean, confident ride from Richard Furry, who's riding top of his game as well. We move on to race 5. It seems to just gets the more difficult races, or the more study
Yeah.
needed in these races. Trickier.
Yes.
The ones that are going to make the tote dividends pay. Racecourse incentive powered by Hollywood Bets, a class 4. We move up to the mile trip now. The betting is 5-2 Berman King and Marcus Aurelius. 7-2 Captain's Alliance. 4-1 Mutiny Heaven. 14-1 Spirit. 16-1 Groove Jet. Right Giant Ticket. The rest.
Difficult race, this. Yeah, yes. Marcus Aurelius would be my selection. I think he's actually a very smart horse. He's clearly not that sound because he's lightly raced at intervals, but he's got some really good speed figures, producing strong finishes. So he's got a nice turn of foot. He's also tactically versatile because he's been held up for a run and could come from off the pace, and he's also been ridden to lead and kept going from a handy position. So that does give Aldo Dome positional options. Talking about high percentage strike rates, Aldo is on 27% winning rate and just under 60% place rate when he rides for Bass Racing. So Marcus Aurelius would be my top choice, just with a little bit of a query. Fixed odd punters before plunging. I would suggest you just take a peek at him in the prelims, and maybe if he's moving well, that may give you a little bit more confidence. Mutiny in Heaven went into my notebook a couple of months ago when it won its maiden, heavily supported in some style. The speed figure is still quite a few points off what Marcus Aurelius has achieved. But the visual impression that Mutiny in Heaven created suggests that he is potentially a smart horse. So those are the two that I would narrow down. I'd use them as my A horses, Marcus Aurelius and Mutiny in Heaven. As for the others, just to go through them as snappily as possible, Bombers in the Sky got a figure of 89 11 days ago. So that must have a place chance in a class 4. Urban King has got a similar speed figure. Not an easy ride. I've seen him a couple of times doing some weird side steps and jink, but he's obviously quite capable. The dark horse, well, actually the grey horse, is Yamazaki. Second run after rest and gelding, and on the pick of his back form, when he ran some very, very good races. He could be dangerous if Justin Snaith has got him right. So I would suggest that you definitely include Yamazaki in backups, Diamond Rock for the lower slots of tries and quartets, Captain's Alliance, just the one win from 15, which is not that inspiring, but it's got competitive figures in the low 90s and it's got some good course form. And the only other one that I feel is worth a mention is Spirit, who interestingly is ridden by the comeback kid, Ashton Aries, who has had how should I put it, eventful career. Is that diplomatic enough?
Nothing wrong with that. The less said, the better.
Yeah, there you go. Look, he's a talented rider, and I hope that he can fulfill
Bounce back.
his potential and earn good money as a jockey. Look, Spirit has actually beaten Object Doubt before. So that's very much in his favor, but carrying 63 and being drawn out at 10 are daunting obstacles. So for me, Marcus Aurelius against Mutiny in Heaven.
Agree with you, Marcus Aurelius. I'm not sold on Mutiny in Heaven. I'd like to see him perform more. Was visually impressive the way he won over the 1600 last time at Kenilworth. He travelled supremely well, hardly went for the stick. I like that Super Viking form line, can come forward, but we'd like to see more. Marcus Aurelius, another one that's improved leaps and bounds with the blinkers. 2 runs, a second and a first, beating Captain's Alliance last start. I've gone for a bit of a boil over here. I've put up as one of my each way bets number 10, Spirit, what you've been talking about now. Aston Aries, drawn 10, merit rated 91. Not worried about the weight. I think can carry the weight. More worried about the draw, but then does finish. I mean, ran behind Kelp Forest, finished like a train that day. Ran behind Major Master, finished a length and a half behind Major Master. Again, his back form is also excellent. And I did read that Pit Stain, they did say they found the issues with his horse. They were very happy that he'd come forward on the last run, and he ran, wasn't wanted that day. He drifted from 7-1 to 12-1. He ran just behind them. Welcome back, Spirit, probably run after a
Yeah.
break from February. Marcus Aurelius, I cannot deter you if you like him. I think he's got every chance. The only worry is that he does throw in some bad runs some days. I mean, he's been ultra consistent his last 7 runs with 3 wins and 3 places and 1 disappointing run behind Mente at Manu. But that day he was reported short. So there
Yeah.
seems
Yeah.
to be little issues with him. So, and then we have Bourbon King. We've got the fortune factor on board. Has won on him before. No, has not won on him. Red's third behind Waleo Yamoni last time. Made progress that day. Came from 7 lengths behind to finish 2 lengths behind. Does hold Captain's Alliance on the last run on that same form line. And the other one you mentioned, which I thought also, I was swithering another one of those outsiders that I will include, is number 4, Yamazaki. His back form is also excellent. He's been gelded his second run of the gelding. His form before Boogiefield and the Witch Hazel form was super solid. I mean,
Yeah.
he hasn't won for 329 days, which is, some horses are quite cyclical. They like certain
Yes.
times of the year to win.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
would include him in bigger perms and trifectas or quartets.
Yes.
I can't knock you if you do fancy Captain Marcus Aurelius, namesake, Marcus.
Yes. Yeah. There you go. Andrew,
Maybe
what
take
you
the
said.
swinger.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And the comment you made about seasonal preferences and horses cycling back into form, it really is fascinating. A long time ago, I did an exercise where I would look for horses that had won or run well that month, the previous year. And it was absolutely fascinating how many live outsiders you could come up with. So it was almost as if you just had to ignore whatever the horse's recent form was, but if it won in December in the past year, and it's now December in the current year, for example, then you look for it to shine up, and there's a rationale behind it because horses do have seasonal peaks and troughs, and sometimes it can be a way to uncover long-priced horses. And I think Yamazaki has won at Durbanville.
I'm going to say something here. Let me
Go-
take in the swinger,
Yes,
Yamazaki and Spirit, because I love a good Yamazaki, and
yes,
it's a great and Spirit. It's a great Spirit, all the way
there
from
you go.
Japan.
There
And we're
you
going to
go.
include Marcus Aurelius because he must have had a few spirits in his illustrious career.
Yes, it's nerve-wracking and stressful running empires, Tubbs. You know that.
Yeah, 100%. Moving on to race number 6. Getting to the end. It is a Lucky Fish Aviator. I think that is a game. And that's available on Interbet as well if you want to play that. Class 5, we step down to 1400 meters. The betting is 1 Magic, 15-10, 5-2 Devil a Saint, 4-1 Noonday Gun, 5-1 Thomas Jenkins, 7-1 Jet 1, 25-1, and better the rest. Again, not a deep race. I'll go through the couple that are near the top of the boards. Jetta 1, drawn 1. That's the only positive for me. Probably needs to drop lower. I mean, it has dropped from 72 now to 64. I mean, a half decent run behind Trip to Camelot, then behind Super Viking, did stay on that day. I think probably needs further. I'm not quite sure. I think one of the main runners, number 2, Noonday Gun, Safisa Bongani, gets a 2.5 off. So carries, drops down to 57 kilograms, 50% place, places at Durbanville, 100% places over course and distance. And I think at 5-6 to 1, if you do get that on the day, I think probably an each way
Yeah.
bet. I think a
Yes.
free bet.
Yes.
Devil is Saint, three cracking thirds of late, but has left the money on the table. I mean, he got beaten by a horse called Baton Rouge. It took forever to win from the Peak Water Yard. Best run, I think, was the Clark Griswold run there. Was always chasing that day. So the drop-in trip to 1400 should suit. Another that has won at the course, 5 places from 12 starts. Course and distance, 2 seconds from 6 starts. Been costly to follow. And I think the one, if he puts his best foot forward, another that was visually very impressive on debut, number 5, One Magic. Then ran in open company at Class 5 and finished 2.5 lengths behind Oktoberfest. Was slow that day and just off them 2 lengths. And I think if he just brings 75% of his A game tomorrow, I think he is probably the horse to beat. I know he's a 2-year-old, again running against the older horses, but it is their birthday in 10 days' time. And for me, I think it's a straight shootout. One Magic, I think, does look to win, but I couldn't take 14-10 just because of the last run and running against older. I'd rather be having an each way bet on number 2, Noonday Gun.
Yeah.
And that's how I see the race.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in sync with you there, my man. Noonday Gun was an eye catcher behind Super Viking, and he now gets a very competent claimer that could swing it. And his course form is good. He'll be running on strongly late. One Magic, I'm not quite sure what to make of him because I agree. He really won in some style on debut. The speed figure was perfectly acceptable, but then everything went wrong at that second start. Slow out, reported as short and blowing, which is sometimes a sign of physical distress. So, that was real mystery. So he's hard to assess as a juvenile. Andrew correctly notes, we have this perception. You think of 2-year-olds, but in effect, they're only 2 weeks away from turning 3. Devil Saint is consistent with speed figures in the low 90s. He could be dangerous if he gets loose on the lead in this field. To one uh, also has a speed figure in the high 80s, a career top with a tongue tie fitted. Under similar circumstances a month ago, a chronic loser, 1 win from 21 starts, and he's comfortably held on the finishing fractions by Noonday Gun. The only other horse that I might mention, Thomas Jenkins, who came back to form last time behind Super Viking. And, he too could get into the mix. But I think if you had to take 2 against the field, Noonday Gun and One Magic. So I concur with Andrew's assessment.
Thank you, Marcus. I see Peter Wrench raiding with another outsider. I think the 17th of March was the last time they had turf in Quebec. That's how much rain they've
Wow.
had.
Wow.
Crazy,
Wow.
crazy, crazy.
Wow. Wow.
Moving on to race number 7, the lucky last for the day. Bright Future Class 4 for the fillies and mares, back to the sprint trip over 12.50. The betting is big money for number 1, Blue Lagoon, shortened from 2-1 into 12-10. Quite a few shorteners because of the scratching. Number 7, Go Like Us, does not take part. Star World 5-2. My Only Weakness 7-1. Wise Declaration 7-1. 10-1. All is Green 14-1. Cliffscape 25-1 and better. The remaining 2 runners. Where you go, Mr. Marcus? Find us a winner.
Yeah, well, my each way lurker is Cityscape. Speed score of 87 meets the par, a winning standard for a race at this level, and its official merit rating has come down quite a bit. You look at the horses that he was competing against, that she was competing against early in her career. I think she rates a live chance now. She's come down. On the official ratings, she's well drawn. She's a course winner. Blue Lagoon will get the run of the race. I think Andrew Fortune will control it, but her overall speed scores are a little bit low for this class. I mean, she could well improve significantly and outrun what she's achieved thus far. I've got huge respect for Andre Nel and how he places horses and how he gets them fit and monitors them. The very, very professional operation that they run up the West Coast. Ours declaration may be a place chance. My only weakness has got competitive speed figures now, turns back to sprints. Star World, good form prior to a 3-month layoff, but I'm a little bit leery about horses, with that sort of profile when they come back. And you sort of wonder, well, why were they off for 90 days or so? Has sprinted well here in the past in early March, got some nice numbers. And again, the trainer jock combos, Richard Ferry for Vaughan Marshall, they're perennial top achievers. And when they combine forces, they tend to do well. So bit of a spec bet, but certainly at around 14-1, I don't think you can get hurt or do too much damage on the basis that Cityscape can outrun those odds.
Head to head. Head to head.
Heck
I
and
found
Jay,
one
let's
in
have another one,
Heck and
but
J. I prefer the stable companion. Wise
uh-huh.
declaration. Joshua Solomon's on board. 2 decent wins. I mean, course distance is a win in 2 places from 4 starts. Same as for course and distance. I just like those runs behind beating our Stedford. We did disappoint on his next start. Very close together with yours on the Raffish trend run. The other race
Yes.
earlier that day, not fancied. I just hope comes fancied today. I mean, they're very close. Yours was just off the finish better than Wise Declaration last time. So for me, I'm taking you on with Wise Declaration.
Okay.
But I do think it is a bit of a deeper race than that. We spoke about the
Yeah.
favourites. Blue
Yeah.
Lagoon, I mean, they put the money like they knew the result last time. They backed it in from 5-1 into even money and got up to win by half a length, but was going away that day. I mean, it was, you could see from a long way out he was going to get up. The only problem with this horse, even though drawn 1, and will probably get the run of the race with Andrew Fortune, he's her 2 starts to the track have yielded both unplaced runs. Do forgive her the one where she was drawn 11 out of 13 over 12.50. She was slow away on her first couple of starts. They seem to have rectified that. She hasn't been slow from the gate of late, but we spoke about being drawn 1 and slow away, which can be a massive negative, but does have the big positive of Andrew Fortune on board.
Yes.
Then we
Yes.
moved. Malibu Bits did show 1 decent run behind Quebeca, but then flopped her lines on the 2 subsequent runs. But on the Raffish trend form line, she's got to be there and thereabouts. They all seem to be quite close. And then we've
Yes.
got Girl Like Us again, actually has the best form from the Raffish trend
And
race.
Andrew, she's a girl like us has been is a late scratching.
Sorry,
Yes.
I did mention it. Sorry. She
Yes.
did have
Yeah.
best form. She did have the best form.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, Marcus. My
No, no,
only
no. It was
weakness,
just
if I had the paper version, I would have crossed it out, but I can't do that on my
yes.
computer. Otherwise, I'd have too many lines. My only weakness, solid, but 453-day rule. I'm going to give that a bit of
Yes.
a skip. And
Yep.
Star World, she has solid form. What went wrong last time behind Berry's Boogie? Because her form was very, very strong behind South of France. I mean, she is very close to Wise Declaration as well. Wise Declaration actually holds her on the run. Wise Declaration beats Star World. She's drawn 9, but again, she has the Fury factor who will probably
Yes.
negate that. But I think a tough race to close the day. We weren't sold on the top of the market. We've gone for 2 roughies from the
Yes.
same stable, Wise Declaration and Cliffscape. But a tough race to close and not a major bet in that race.
No, look, it's a card one should approach with a measure of caution. I mean, that's the beauty of punting, Andrew. It's not just the selections and finding what we believe are the winners, but it's how you actually use your
Put it all
capital,
together.
how you put it all together, how you manage your money, how you put the tickets together, whether you emphasize, fixed odds or you go for multiples, as we alluded to earlier, or if you try and stun them with exotics. It's a fascinating game, and there are clever ways to play. There are probably dumb ways to play it, but there's great variation. People often joke in racing, but true words, that there are no rules. That you've just got to come up with something that is workable, and that's the challenge.
And that works for you. Some people only take place
Yes,
bets because they find that much
yes,
easier, or they believe that's their way of making a profit. As you said, if you
and
write
that's
plus
yes,
at the end of the day, that's what you need to do.
and that's a very, very important point because betting is a really personal act. Everybody's got their idiosyncrasies and different styles and different capital and different temperaments and different things that they're good at. What I would encourage, the followers is to keep records of the bets that they take, and that can be useful. Just to get a handle of what you're good at, what you're not so good at, and what you really suck at. And that can help because you have some very successful horse players who um, have worked out what they're good at, where their strengths lie, and then they try to optimize that. So just as a gentle sort of mini sort of lecture, just keep. I would advise the guys out there just to keep records of their bets, and then get a sense of what is working and what is not proving as effective.
And play with money that you can afford. I think that is a big key. I mean, I know a lot of us
Yes.
sometimes take the chances, whatever, but I think that is the key because then you keep it
Yeah.
friendly and you
Yes.
enjoy it.
Yes.
That's the most
Yes.
important. You never really want to put yourself under pressure, which
Yeah, you don't want to go on tilt. Like extending things to the point where your judgment is affected. That's not cool.
yep. Have you had a look for tomorrow, Mark? Did anything stand
For
out for
the
you in the big meeting on
the
Sunday?
Gold Cup, I thought what is the correct pronunciation? King Pearls, King Peles. I thought, yeah, yeah. I thought that would win the Gold Cup. I like the look of Tenango in the Mercury. Sure, there were a couple actually that
Top
I'd
two,
be interested.
because this could take forever.
The Real Prince. So King Pearls.
Two that I found, I thought in race 3, I have very big respect for a horse called Bisu Bisu, currently 14-1. Did fluff the lines last time, but I believe stable say working very well, and one that you need to include in at 14-1. You can't get really hurt.
Yes,
The Mercury Sprint, I think, is an interesting race. They all ran on top of each other last time. The only new person is questioning in the race
with a
to
bad
see how
draw.
that with
Yeah,
a bad draw. And another one, I see they're rating from Port Elizabeth, a horse called Another Dance for Me. I think he's won 12 out of his 13 starts. I mean, he's a class act. Again, I'd
yes,
probably have another each way bet on a horse called Minogue. Sean Terry does find form on these days. That's in race
yes,
9, number 1 as well. Both my
yes,
horses are number 1, Bisu Bisu from the Speciard. And a very, very interesting day's racing. Tote pools and exotic bets will be very big. There are carryovers. You can get tote bets on Interbet, don't forget. You can see where the
yes.
early money's been as
Yep.
well on most races. And I'm looking forward to that. But first, we've got to try and build our float tomorrow at Durbanville, the
Yes,
country
try and
course.
pad the bankroll a bit there at Durbanville on Saturday. So yeah, no. Well, hopefully we pointed the gang in the right direction, at least in most of the races. Let's hope so. And then the guys will have stronger bankrolls to send it into those huge pools on Super Sunday.
Everybody stay safe, be lucky, Marcus. Let's hope we can continue the form that we've been having. Touch wood,
Yeah, yeah. Thanks,
touch wood,
but yeah.
and have a good one. We'll be back next week, previewing
Yes.
another couple of meetings.
Yeah, all the best there from the Coastal Racing Boys team and Interbet. Shut.